All right, welcome to this chart breakdown of TQQQ. Before we get started, I gotta mention, please do your own due diligence. Do not invest, buy, sell, trade, or hold any investment before doing your own due diligence. Remember, I'm just giving you my opinion of what I think could happen based on what I have seen in the past and looking to the future. All right. Now, I'm hoping that I will be able to give you some information for the next situation you might be in case you are trading this weekly, daily, or if you're doing swing trades. Now, with all that being said, we're going to start with our breakdown of TQQQ, which is a triple leverage fund that tracks the NASDAQ. So if you're interested in investing into tech, this may be an option for you. Now, I have this in the weekly time frame. What I'm going to do is do weekly support and resistance first. So to take my bias out of it, I'll move the chart all the way over here. I'm covering up everything from January, so November. Pretty much everything from November over, I'm covering because I don't want to put my bias into it. All I want to do is look for my levels. So this goes to my first thing. Look to the left. If you look to the left, you'll see areas that you will mark up for support and resistance. And if you notice, I'm putting my cursor next to everywhere I see areas of major support and resistance. I'll do one more because I do see another area right here. So if you're asking yourself, well, why do all these lines? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. 6 areas that I'm looking at for price action reaction. Okay, so when price action get here, I'm looking for either a bounce or a pass through. All right, and the reason I'm doing that is because I want to make sure when I enter a trade, I have a idea of where I want to enter, exit, or if I want to add to or take away from a position. So what I did was I first and foremost went to pretty much the time when the market was at its lowest, the last low. That was in March of 2020. Okay, we all know when that was. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start revealing what some of our areas were. So here, that's our first line. Here we have a second line here. That is also resistance. Resistance was support for a moment, then became resistance. This one was support here. And actually, let's do one of these. So this line here, that was a resistance point. It then became support for a while in this area. And then over here, it became resistance for that candle right there. Now, generally, with all of these lines, you're going to see the same thing. Areas that were support will then become resistance. These are great areas for you to look for opportunities to get in and out of the market. Now, what I've done is I did horizontal lines that go across the entire chart. So it doesn't matter where it starts or ends, that line is going to be there. The reason I did that is because sometimes you'll notice these lines will come up and be important again. So we have resistance, resistance, support. Then we have here, we have support. Then it becomes resistance, support, and then resistance again. Now down here, you're noticing the same pattern. It doesn't have to be support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. You just need to know that at some point, these areas may become important to you again. And if you notice on some of them, you're starting to see long wicks. These long wicks are very, very telling because they will let you know this is a strong rejection. So it's rejecting that area. And if you notice, these lines have so far become pretty accurate for us to pick areas of support and resistance. Now, we just made sure that we have these areas marked. Now it's time to go to a smaller time frame. So let's go to a 1 day. Oh, everything disappeared. I don't know where it's at. Hold on, let's find it. it's still here. It's just so small that we have to expand our chart. Here we go. Here we go. And all right. Welcome. We are back at the daily time frame. So this is the daily time frame or TQQQ. At this moment, you are now seeing the areas we drew in our weekly. We are now looking at places for entries and exits. What you're seeing here is a rejection. This is our last one. The reason I'm looking here is because this is the most recent action or reaction from an area we drew as a weekly support and resistance. That's important to me. So I want to mark it up. That was the first part of this movement. With that being said, I know that I have had a down movement, and right now I'm in a consolidation. So this consolidation needs to be marked up so I can plainly see it. And we're going to change this to that. We're going to do another area of, let's see, marking up that consolidation. So the price has generally been moving anywhere from $16 to, let's just give it the top here, $23, almost $24. It's in a channel right now. It's consolidating. If you know this in a larger time frame, you're going to look down to the smaller time frames and say to yourself, well, if I'm in a channel and I'm at the top of this channel, is price going to go above? Is it going to go above to this area? Or is it going to stay in the channel and continue back down to this area? Because it was done it once, 2 times before. So you see it did it. This was the first bounce off of here, giving us the start of our trend line for the channel at the bottom. This is the second. And this may be a third coming down. So that's important. Now what we're going to do is we're going to trade, or not we're going to trade, but we're going to go into another time frame. So we're going to go into the hour time frame. So give me 1 second and we'll get you guys to the hour time frame.